Knicks, huh?
But the best thing about New York City is
K-N-I-C-K. Everybody say go New York, go New York, go! Go New York, go New York, go!
Hey everybody, it is episode 577 of the New York Knicks podcast, part of Dash Radio. I am Jay. How you doing, Mark?
Good. Should we cut to our secret audio?
Yeah, we got some leaked audio that's going to be a premiere on this show.
Please excuse the terrible quality of everything we do. Ring, ring, ring. I heard a ring sound. Ring, ring.
For the last time, will you stop?
Hey! Is this the Pistons?
Leon, it's 2 a.m.
That's
Give
not.
it up.
It's not. It's Scott Perry. Leon's busy playing 4D chess.
I don't care who it is. I am not trading Ivy. Be quiet.
No, you have to trade us Ivy. No, I can't go back. Leon's gonna kill me. I told him. He said we have to do this. So, what do you want? I'll give you everything. Do you want? I have children. Do you want them?
You realize leaking your own rumors and then trying to make them happen is not a really good strategy.
We told Knicks fans we're getting Jaden. It has to happen.
Well,
just don't hang up on me, please.
You lied.
I'm begging you, please.
Click.
Hello, ring. Hello, ring. Please.
So the draft happened.
The draft happened. We did an episode that night. The episode we were completely confused, and as of right now, we're slightly less confused.
Yeah, we didn't have all the details. In retrospect, maybe we should have waited, but now we got the details.
Lots of stuff has happened.
How you feeling?
So, I was if you saw me on Twitter, I was very, very negative. On the negative scale of 1 to 10, I was at like a 14 that night. And through the weekend, I'm slowly getting less negative. I'm slowly coming around. I don't know if coming around. I'm slowly just being okay with everything. Mm-hmm. I'm not angry anymore. I don't know if this is like so the biggest thing to me is there's a way I'd like the Knicks to build a team. I so badly dream of the Knicks building through the draft. Like just building a young team, doing it the right way. And I don't know why this is so important to me, but I really feel like this would be the right way to win. Develop a team, get a young core, bring them along, and when you're close enough, you add a free agent. There are some I feel like that might be the best way to do it. I know the Knicks have tried drafting, and they've also missed on picks like Knox, Ntilikina, and so forth, where if you'd taken the right player, we'd be a lot further along. But anyway, so what died on Thursday was my any hope of the Knicks building through the draft. I know they have a young core. I know there's a lot of young guys on the team, but clearly the Knicks' goal here, the number one priority, is star chasing or above average. I don't know if Jalen Brunson's a star, but they're chasing free agents. That's how they're trying to build. Secondarily, is building through the draft. It frustrated me a little bit. How are you feeling, Jay?
A little frustrated. I was with you. I was really mad during the draft. Brooklyn Adrian says he's disappointed. I think that's a fair assessment. Disappointed. They, we're like, oh, who are they going to draft? Are they going to trade up? Or if they don't, there's a bunch of players they could take. And they ended up not taking anybody till, the 42nd pick?
Yeah, I think no one, when every Knicks content creator out there, no one when they previewed the NBA draft was like, you know what would be great? I hope Knicks take no one.
Right.
That'd be my ideal. No,
yeah.
This feels also a lot like, so the Knicks have I think 7 or 8 guys under 25, and a lot of people have pointed it out. We already have a young core. Where's the playing time and so forth? This feels a lot like the 2008-2009 Knicks. I mean, those teams had you had Gallinari, you had Wilson Chandler. I guess Mozgov maybe was there in 2010. You had Skinny Felton, who was a free agent, but you had a bunch of young players, and they kind of traded that in. They were they traded that in to get Melo, and gave the house to Melo. We all know the history. It did not work out as well as we'd hoped. And I feel like the Knicks have gone back to that strategy of where like we're always waiting. I mean, it sounds like the Knicks will get Jalen Brunson. If Leon Rose does not get Jalen Brunson, he should step down. If he did these moves in the draft night and didn't have insider information from his goddamn son, who is Brunson's agent, he should just quit the job. Like, like Leon Rose. If Leon Rose did not tamper, something's wrong with him mentally.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
it's malpractice not to have tampered. If your son is the guy's goddamn agent, you know he's coming here.
Right. Exactly.
But I did not think I do not necessarily think the Knicks are far enough along to trade that like to go all in for like add one superstar with I don't think they're far enough along to stop drafting. And it seems like the Knicks have kind of stopped drafting.
Well, there's a rumor that Murray on the Spurs is available, and the Hawks were rumored to get him for Gallo and a couple firsts. Now, I don't know how many firsts, but is it completely out of reality that the Knicks could get both of them?
So after the first 3 years and with the Knicks, first 2 years under Leon, where they're like, he didn't give a shit about getting a point guard. Now he's like, I'm going to get two.
I mean, you wouldn't be over the moon if that happened?
Yeah, I don't. It'd be an interesting choice. What do you think? Would you be over the moon if this happened? I like of the two of them, I'd like Murray more so than Jalen Brunson. But I'm fine with the Knicks getting Jalen Brunson. I have no real issue with them getting him. Like I think it's a smart move. But what you would like both? Is there any
absolutely.
issue with fit?
I don't think so because, I mean, Murray's not great from outside, but Brunson is. But Murray's a much better defender, rebounder.
It would be interesting. You're right. Like the Knicks also, the last time they had before their 54-win season, they had 2 point guards. Obviously, Brunson can play off the ball because he was playing with Luka. It'd be a really interesting fit. But do you think this is really going to happen?
No, I definitely don't. I think Brunson's going to happen. I think that's why we don't hear any Murray rumors. It seems like the Knicks have to move one more piece to get enough room. So maybe they'll do a sign and trade. Maybe there's rumors of Noel leaving, or maybe Burks.
How would you feel if the Knicks got rid of Noel? So the rumors are Noel. I think they're talking to the Clippers about Noel. I mean, we'll see. I think Burks, they were talking to the Celtics. Celtics have a big trade exception. They can just absorb the salary.
Yeah.
And maybe they can move Fournier. I don't know if they're how much they're trying to move Fournier. My understanding is he's trying. Everyone that was signed last summer, they're trying to move to some extent, which is really a sign of you did a good job with your most cap space in the NBA when you want to move everyone the following year.
Right.
And it was funny how everyone's like, these are all low risk contracts. They're only short. They're short term. They're easily movable, except when they're not.
Well, it's also like a lot of people are defending Rose. It seems like other than getting Brunson, his entire offseason plan is to just undo what he did a year before.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you could also say like he thought this would make sense. He knew this. He realized the strategy failed. He wants to win. I guess now he's not taking this slow. Undoing your if he ended up getting, if he gets Brunson and someone else, here the two things I'd be very happy with. Brunson and another star like a Murray or someone else sounds great. Awesome, sign me up.
Yeah.
Or Brunson and he just unloads Randall. I'm kind of fine with that also. I know that's harsh on Randall, but I think Obi's ready to replace his minutes. I think we'd be better off, like for fit wise, not having Randall here.
I think it's more fit wise. It just doesn't seem to be working out. He doesn't seem to be. There was a lot of times last season where a teammate fell and he just walks away, or he's pouting.
He seemed to quit on the team a lot on defense also.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like he's happy. I don't know if he was just going through something, but like we can't go through another. Like, if he's gonna be like that, we can't go through 3 more years of that.
He was highly inefficient. Yeah, it's a tough thing to go through. If the Knicks actually wanted just to clear a ton of cap space, but didn't care about next season, Russell Westbrook just signed for $47 million next year. You could clear a lot of cap space because that'd be a 1-year deal, but that would really be sacrificing next season. That would be the way if you did that, you'd be like, I'm just going full youth movement. And I know a lot of Knicks fans also were really in favor of the full youth movement. That's done. There's no full youth movement. The Knicks are open to trading all these young players also.
Yeah.
They will, to get a superstar, like if they get DeJounte Murray, I imagine IQ will be in the trade. Maybe Obi. Like one of the young guys is going in the trade.
The thing is, if you're getting Murray and you got Brunson, you probably don't need IQ. Or if you're keeping IQ, you don't need Grimes and McBride. Like,
you're right. There's guys that can move. I like Grimes too much to move him. IQ, if you have 2 point guards, you're adding 2 point guards. Yes, you don't really need IQ here anymore.
And we like him. And yeah, Jay Shady said we are building through the drafts. We just want to get a point guard. They just want to get a point guard through free agency, which I don't know. To me, that's the hardest position to fill, and they could have done that through the draft. So I don't know.
Yeah, well, they could have done previously, and I wanted them to get what's his name from the Raptors last year,
Van Fleet.
6'1". Yeah, Van Fleet. So I'm totally fine with you getting a point guard in free agency. It really is what killed it. So I wrote a divisive tweet on the other day where basically I just pointed out year one they drafted a guy Obi who basically is just a backup. Not because they use him as a backup. He was drafted. He's behind Randall, and it's been hard to get minutes. Obviously, Randall had a great season the following season, so it's a little more. But basically, you draft the guy to be a backup, and in year 3, you've yet to clear any playing time for the guy.
Just on that, a lot of people are saying that the Knicks were about to move Randall, and so that's why they got Obi. Was that reported anywhere that the Knicks were about to move Randall?
We don't have to go through this. I remember there.
No,
being
I'm honestly curious because I don't remember that being reported at all, and I'm just wondering if that's like retroactive history or like I just missed it.
I thought there were some rumblings that were going to move him, and then I think they were just waiting for like more value. Like, see, I don't know why they didn't move him right then. Obviously, then you had an All NBA season, and then the Knicks didn't also have to sign him last year. They could have waited till this season. Some people were like, well, they couldn't let him walk after that season. They had the option to wait another year because he was signed for this past year anyway. But forget that.
They did, but if they waited and then he had another good season, then he'd be making like $35 million a year.
The big thing here is a lot of Leon Rose's moves at the time are reasonable. You're not paid. You're not running it like it's a results-oriented business. Either you get it right or you get it wrong.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter if it's a reasonable move. You have to make the right moves. And a lot of Leon Rose's moves, you can defend them all you want. In retrospect, most of them have not worked out. And it's results oriented. It doesn't really matter. You could be a great coach. You'd be like, yeah, you did a great job coaching. We could have reasonably won a lot of those games, but we didn't. So you're fired. That shot you took was a reasonable shot, but you missed it. We don't want you on the team anymore. Like it's results. That's the only thing that really matters. So Leon's results have not been great so far. But anyway, my point was a backup in year 1, year 2, you had the 19th and 21st pick, did not pick at either pick. You traded them both away. You end up getting Grimes at 25. That's fine. But and then in year 3, you had the 11th pick and then a shot at the 13th pick and you took neither.
Yeah.
To me, you're collecting assets. All the assets they collected the other night, they're not planning on drafting someone with those assets. That would be if they fail. Like that's like to them, if you have to draft someone with those assets, you've messed up. I bet come draft time, if any of those draft assets, anytime they materialize, he'll just keep trading back. He's not interested in collecting more young players. He's really interested in collecting future assets that he can move in a trade.
Well, even if he does keep them, they're going to be lower picks. They're heavily protected. So most likely we're not going to see those picks until 2025, 2026.
Yeah. It's also like I know they said well he didn't like anyone at 11. Not to be a good player from 11 through 30. You can take anyone. You don't have to take a guy who's ranked 14th on the board. You could take someone 11th. You could take anyone. For there not to be a good player from 11 to 30, it would be one of the worst drafts in NBA history.
I'm telling you, Tari Eason's going to be good. Keep an eye on that guy.
I'm sure he will be. There will be plenty of guys. There will be at least a couple of guys to the Knicks. Not them saying like pick number 12 or 15 is going to be an all-star, but there'll be very good players that are better than current Knicks who you'd be happy to have on this team. I mean, it's a weird thing in the sense of like the Knicks are going to give $100 million, over $100 million to a guy who was a second-round pick. At the exact same time, they're like, second-round picks don't matter.
It's true.
It's weird. All the guys, Dejounte Murray, who they're going for, was the 29th pick in the draft. They're really like not valuing like, and also the Knicks have had recent memory has been the Knicks identifying who their guy is in the draft, and then having someone taken shortly after who was much better.
Mm-hmm.
You shouldn't. I think there's a lot of hubris in thinking like I know exactly who's good on draft night.
Well, a lot of people are saying that he's been nailing a lot of these draft picks, and he has, but nailing like a 32nd pick got great value out of it, but that's different than nailing like a top 5 pick.
Right.
The ceiling's higher, and as much as we like these guys, and IQ could have a long career as an NBA starter, but I don't think he's going to be an all-star and all-NBA, and you need one of those guys.
Right. Above average at 8 and 11 means you got a starter, if not an all-star. Above average at 25 means you got a solid rotation piece. Above average at 55, we got Sims. He's a great backup. Yeah, you're right. He's doing good at the picks he's doing. There's good players they've added, but it's better it's even better if you can do well at the like it's just still it's
right. You develop a good playoff team, and then you hope you nail these later picks. You don't have a bad team and then just try and build through those picks.
Right. And the people are like, there's no playing time. Like, oh, we have too many guys. We like the guys we have. Everyone agrees, and the Knicks tried to trade for Jaden Ivey. If they had Ivey, playing time emerges. He's good. He can get playing time. And obviously the Knicks didn't get Ivey. But if you draft someone at 11, if that guy goes to practice in camp and he's just good or better than the players you have, he will just get the minutes the other guy gets. Like, We have to assume we had the 11th pick in the draft. We don't have a roster full of all-stars. We don't have the most talent in the NBA. We can always get better at pretty much every position.
Yeah, we have no minutes for guys who want to see these people play. And, again, we like them. But I'm not going to be like, oh, yeah, we can't go get Ivy because, we got Grimes.
Right. And the same thing,
I like Grimes,
I can't.
But, we got to be realistic about these picks, too.
Yeah, but I wanted AJ Griffin. You know what? If you drafted AJ Griffin and he came to camp and he was pretty darn good, you would find minutes for him. Plus, you have him on 4 years of control for the rookie contracts, which are super valuable in managing your cap space, building a team, getting young players that are good makes a huge difference. And I know we have like 7 or 8 guys who are really young, but really of that we have RJ, who's tier 1. We got Obi, we got IQ, tier 2. Both who haven't proved they're even starters yet. Tier 3, Grimes. From there, everyone else is like a maybe. I know people like Deuce. He hasn't done anything in the NBA really yet. Mm-hmm. We like Sims, but he hasn't done anything more than a backup. And the Knicks are playing on him being the backup, at least for now. I like Cam, but he wasn't that good on the Hawks, and he hasn't been that good in the Knicks yet.
I have no idea what Cam is. I don't. I think he's, based on what I've seen on Twitter, he's the next Jordan. But I have not seen it yet on the court.
You may not find out because they might move Cam in the clear cap space, which will be a really weird use of picks to turn the 19th pick into a heavily protected Charlotte pick to turn into Cam and then not even have him on, barely play him.
Rob wants to know when the last time building through free agency has ever worked out for the Knicks.
For the Knicks, well, I guess like you could say the 54-win season. I mean, they traded for Melo. Amari was through free agency. Kid, they got. It really hasn't ever. Has not produced any sustained success for the Knicks.
Yeah, they got one season out of it.
Yeah, basically, and short play. It really has. Generally speaking, most teams build a big portion of their team to the draft, or, I mean, really, like the Miami Heat. Who else really built just totally through free agency?
That's not even totally because they drafted Wade.
Yes, that's true. I mean, you got to do, and the Knicks have drafted some players. Whatever. Let's move on. I don't want to be too negative the whole show.
Yeah, no, I just honestly think that you need to hit on the draft picks since I started watching basketball in the early '90s. I think the 2020 Lakers are the only team I've ever seen win a championship built through free agency.
Anthony Davis was a trade, not free agency.
Okay, but not through the draft.
Yeah, I mean, generally, most teams have a big portion of their core not. I mean, the Knicks again. People will argue the Knicks have a bunch of young players they've drafted, so yada yada yada. They've drafted a bunch of guys. I have to say the one thing also is if you look at the draft night, if the Knicks just stopped after their trade with the Hornets, it would have been a very good night.
Yeah.
The Knicks traded. They got 3 heavily protected firsts for the 11th pick. I didn't really care for Osman Dieng. He was a big project. I don't know if the Knicks would have worked out anyway. And obviously they could have taken a different player. But then at 13, they trade one of those firsts and 4 seconds, and they end up getting Jalen Duran. Or Jalen Duran, I don't know how to pronounce his last name. He is supposed to have a very high ceiling, be the best center in the draft, or I think the best center in the draft. He was a second best because not as good as Chet Holmgren, but he would have been a perfect guy. You take him, you could have moved on from Mitch, and he would have been I don't love taking a center there, but he would be the kind of guy you want to take.
Yeah. JC said we're not building through free agency. We have RJ, Obi, Grimes quickly all through the draft, which is true. We're not saying that they're not. We're saying they're not prioritizing free agency.
I think here's what I'm saying. Just to make it clear, they will make a massive trade soon, or they're building through trades and free agency. Their goal is to get a star more so than their goal is number one priority is to get a star through trading. That's why they're collecting all these assets. Number 2 is free agency. Number 3 is the draft.
Right. So you think they're going to go? They're trying to do the Lakers route of they got Anthony Davis by trading all their youth and draft picks.
Why else are they collecting all these assets?
Right.
There's no other reason to collect all these assets unless they're going to trade these assets. They are hoping to have a stockpile of assets, not because they're right now it looks like they're going to have a bunch of picks in the 2025 draft. It's not like they're scouting freshmen in high school being like, we know which ones are going to be good in 2025. They are waiting. They're like, we can put all these first round picks, a couple of our firsts, we have this, and we can make a move for Donovan Mitchell. We can make a move for DeJounte Murray or just some other star.
Mm-hmm.
So the report basically also is, or what I saw somewhere, Brunson is not their last move. They may try to do something else this summer or shortly down the road. It's their goal here is sign Jalen Brunson, which has to be a done deal, or else if Brunson's not a done deal, holy crap. But I'm assuming Brunson's going to be on the team.
If you think the show is negative, wait to see what happens if the Knicks don't get Brunson.
But they get Brunson, and then they're going to trade for stars. The goal, basically.
Brooklyn Adrian says, "What would be a successful offseason to you?"
I just want to add also they were obviously going for Ivy. So if Detroit had accepted any of their offers, then I guess they would have been building to the draft to get Ivy. They're just kind of in their mindset of star chasing.
Okay,
I said
they didn't get Ivy right now.
What my successful offseason? Yes. I guess getting Brunson, and I said before getting rid of Randall because I just don't think the fit is there, or bringing in another star. I guess that's where we are.
I am going to not get my hopes up for another star, but I will agree. Get Brunson, move Randall, and I think that's all you need because I don't think. Yeah, I agree. I don't think the fit's there for Randall. You can move Obi into the starting lineup, see what happens, and
And I guess you're bringing back Mitch also. I mean, we didn't mention Mitch, but I guess at this point it seems like especially because they're trying to trade Noel, you got to bring back Mitch.
yeah. I mean, and if you move Randall, you got Obi, and then you got Mitch and Sims.
So
It's
if
not
the
bad.
line, I like the lineup better of Obi instead of Randall. I think it's just Obi runs the offense. Like Brunson is not the fastest point guard. We're not helping the pace of this team with Brunson. And I think if you have Brunson and Randall, it's just going to be such a slow offense. Whereas if you have Brunson throwing passes out to Obi, Grimes, RJ, you can have a much faster offense. It'll be more exciting. But anyway, if the Knicks have the starting lineup next year is Brunson, RJ, Grimes, Obi, and Mitch, or I guess Randall instead of Obi. Like, how good is this team?
I think it all hinges on Randall. So, like, in theory, the team is much better. If the ball goes through Brunson and Randall's not pouty and they develop some good chemistry, they're back in the playoffs.
Is Randall going to? So I noticed last year with Kemba was when Kemba would try to be the point guard, Randall didn't really give him that kind of option. In the sense of Randall would still be like, give me the ball. And like Kemba's like, you're 35 feet from the basket and you're posting up. Yeah, the offense goes through me. Which is just like a terrible offensive strat. Is he going to be like, is he just going to defer to Brunson? Are you going to still see Randall bringing the ball up? Are you going to still see Randall like demanding the ball 30 feet from the basket?
I think he will, and I'm very skeptical that it will work out. It should, because you should be like, you're the point guard. You're going to run the offense. Will that happen? I don't think so, but it should.
I feel like also Randall and RJ together are just not a good fit. I imagine RJ will be a little more efficient this year. I imagine Randall will be a little more efficient this year. I feel like they're both high volume, not the most efficient players at this point. I feel like it's going to be a really tough. It's going to be tough to win when both Randall and RJ both go like 9 for 25 every game.
Yeah.
That's a really tough thing to overcome. And obviously there'll be some night I feel like RJ has more of the. If I'm going to bet on one of the two players, I'd bet on RJ. He's younger. He's more exciting. He also seems like he'll be a part of a more fast-paced offense, whereas Randall will not be. On defense, I have still have these issues. I don't understand the idea of why, if you bring back Randall, really Obi pick seems like a wasted pick. And I don't know how are you getting Obi Pitt minutes next year?
The only way is you get rid of Noel, and then you're playing Randall or Obi at the 5 sometimes.
You're basically saying we have a starting center, and then Obi is like your backup center. Basically, he's going to get the backup center, or you can
He could do backup power forward and backup center, so he ends up playing 30 minutes a game.
Yeah, I guess that could work. I also feel like
Or Randall, backup, starting power forward, backup center, so he's playing 30. There's minutes if you only have a 3-guy rotation.
in some ways, I feel like Randall also could be a very interesting small ball center. And after bashing Randall, I feel like it's just that if you put in the work on defense, he's a big, big dude. I really think his rebounding is really good. He's obviously not going to be a rim protector, but I think he'd be a really interesting small ball center if you kind of found some way to make him. But again, that would maybe have him coming off the bench, not really starting. I don't know. I think the fact that you've basically given that you said to Randall, here's the key to the city, and now we want to demote you. It's hard to demote a guy later.
Yeah.
I'm sure Jay at work, if they just said you were, if you have a job, if later on they were like, we want to make you a secretary or a receptionist, you'd be like, yeah, I'm gonna have to change employers to do that because I can't do that here.
Yes. I mean, if they're like the company is going to succeed even more, and you still get your same salary.
Forget it. Does Randall seem like a guy who's going to be happy with a smaller role, but the Knicks are better?
No, he doesn't.
I think if he went to an existing situation like Dallas, where they already have things in place, they already have Luka, he'd be more comfortable taking a not as big role because I'm already going to a very good team. They already have like the superstar. I think in New York, the ego is going to be a tough thing. It's tough to like. He already had a problem last year with RJ emerging and like Obi getting cheers. It's not going to get better from here.
Right. I don't know.
So, I don't know. By the way, what if the Knicks strike out on Jalen Brunson, which would be insane? Who's your plan B? Tyus Jones, Brogdon,
Yeah,
Colin Sexton.
Not Brogdon. Not Brogdon. I don't even think Sexton. I think it would have to be either Ty Jones or you try and use this trove of assets for Murray.
I mean, the assets for Murray would make. I mean, if the Knicks end up with Murray and not Brunson, I think we'd be fine.
The thing is, I don't think the Spurs are going to take top 18 protected picks for Murray.
They'd want the Knicks picks. The only way that anything happens, all the picks the Knicks got are kind of lame picks. The only Knicks picks that matter are the Knicks picks because everyone knows the Knicks picks are going to have a good chance of having a lot of value.
Yeah. So
let's do some questions.
I think Ty Jones, though, you could probably get him for like 10 or 11. Best assist to turnover ratio in the league, like 4 years in a row.
He's not bad. The problem with a lot of these guys is they're small though. Tyus Jones is 6 foot. I think Brunson's like 6 foot, 6'1". It'd be nice to have a bigger DeJounte Murray. I think is like 6'3", and Brogdon's actually like 6'5". He'd be a nice guy to get if he can stay healthy.
Yeah, but he's I don't think he's ever had a healthy season. You just need a big, long, lanky defensive two guard if you get one of those guys as your starting point.
Okay, so let's do a couple questions.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so first question, Jan writes on Facebook, if Leon Rose was fired today, what do you think his most impactful move has been on the franchise? And sub question, why is Leon Rose afraid of making any move that could impact this team? So part one, what's his biggest move he's made? His most positive move. Let's say not impactful, because impactful you could say like drafting Obi was impactful, but not in a good way because you missed on Halliburton or the Randall contract's impactful. What's his most impactful positive move he's made?
Impactful positive move is probably drafting IQ.
Okay. That was a solid move. I would say also the Derrick Rose trade, just because that got them on a really great run, and they would not have made the first round of the playoffs. Sorry, they would not have had the great finish, made the 4 seed if not for getting Derrick Rose, and they got him for almost nothing.
That's a good one too.
And do you think he's afraid of making an impactful move? Like he's not. I mean, Jen's pointing out that Leon hasn't gone. He's not pushing all his chips to the center yet. He's not throwing a bunch of first rounders out there.
I don't think he's afraid to. I think he's trying to make like a super move.
Yeah, I would agree with that. That's. I just don't think I don't think the Knicks are close enough to make this super move yet, and I think it's going to be a mistake that's going to set the franchise back more than anything. But it should be interesting. If they do pull something off, it'll be an interesting team to root for.
Right.
But Paul writes, how good will John Wall be next year? I think he's going to the Clippers, probably for cheap. You guys know how much LA needs to pay him. I think it's just
I think it's mid-level exception. It's a $6 million.
Well, how was the Kemba? So you got bought out by Houston, and I think up to a certain amount, like there's something to do with the buyout where like up to a certain amount I don't know, whatever. Because remember Kemba got bought out and the Knicks gave him $9 million a year.
So Brooklyn Adrian is posting some point guard salaries to make us feel a little better about Brunson making 20 to 25.
I think Brunson is would be the 15th or 16th highest paid point guard at that point.
Lowry $28 million, Conley 22, Brogdon 22, Rozier 21, Van Fleet 21, Lonzo Ball 21.
Yeah, I mean the numbers have just gotten a little outrageous in the NBA, so it's hard to. Sometimes you hear 25, you think it's like holy crap.
Yeah, I'm not used to that because like it's gone up so fast. Like that was max contracts like a couple years ago.
Westbrook is almost getting twice his salary.
Yeah, we'd never even seen a $47 million. Do you know that what's his name? Jokic is about to get like a $259 million deal. So the last year of his contract, he's going to make $59 million.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's hard. You hear that contract also. It's like hard to think that will be worth it. even for the league MVP, will it be worth it?
If he stays
suppose-
healthy, yes. I mean,
yeah.
he dragged like a pretty bad team to the second round.
He's awesome. He's an awesome player. I honestly, if you sign the contract, supposedly the next, I think it's a year or two away. The next contract, like the next media contracts, the cap will go up from here.
Yeah.
Supposedly they're going to make some big the rumor is that like the cap there'll be all these contracts will look even better once the new caps are signed.
Right,
once
but
the
if
cap
you
is-
remember last time we had that big jump, all the GMs went nuts and signed all these ridiculous contracts saying, "Oh, it won't be so bad," and there was like 30
Yeah.
like terrible contracts like immediately.
it's crazy. Paul writes, are we able to make any move without telegraphing it this hard to the world? By the way, shouldn't Dallas on the same way? Shouldn't Dallas just like automatically file like a complaint for tampering? Like I mean, not that I want them to, but like, I don't know. It's pretty clear they're tampering.
It seems pretty clear.
I whatever. We have one question on Instagram. I started posting a little bit on Instagram.
Yeah, we've been Mark's been posting on Instagram every day. NY Knicks podcast, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. We post on all those sites.
Los Dude writes, what is your favorite past Knick playoff series?
94 Bulls, 99 Heat.
I mean, I like when they beat the Pacers. I like when they beat which one what's your forgetting like the historic one, the 90s. What's your favorite of the last 20 years? There's like 4 to choose from.
It really is. The one series they won.
Yeah, when they beat the Celtics that year.
Yeah.
But yeah.
They didn't beat the Celtics, did they?
Yeah, they beat the Celtics.
Would they lose to the Pacers?
They lose to the Pacers.
Right,
yeah,
right,
Celtics
right,
was the
yeah,
first
okay,
round. Remember, was it J.R. Smith who elbowed the guy?
Yeah.
And then they it was out there up 2-0. Then like the Celtics got motivated by the elbow and
Yeah.
okay. On Twitter, the foreigner writes, is there a scenario where a sign and trade brings Kyrie to Dallas, Brunson to the Knicks, and Reynolds to Brooklyn? Thoughts on that? Does the money equate, and would all 3 teams do it? So do you think no, I don't think Brooklyn wants to trade. I think Kyrie, by the way,
Brooklyn's done with Kyrie.
No, he's not. He just opted in. They have him for next year.
Yeah, no, but they're like done with him. Like they don't. I don't think they're happy with him. I think they would be fine if he left. They seem completely fed up with him. I mean, they literally said like, "Go out, find your own trade." Like, I don't think they're happy with him.
No, they are not. But at the same time, and also clearly no trade was materializing because he's like a head case. But at the same time, they want to keep Durant happy. And you really, if Kyrie got traded, you could also just see Durant going okay, trade me. I'm done also. They signed up for this. They're stuck with both players.
Yeah. I mean, unless Kyrie now is like, I'm getting $36 million, now trade me. Which he may very well do. I don't think he makes it past the trade deadline.
I mean, that's possible. I think, though, once you trade Kyrie, just find a trade for Durant. Because Durant doesn't want to be there either. Just go to the rebuild because it's not going to work out.
Right.
And also, realistically, once you've traded Kyrie, I mean, it'll be tough to try to win a title with what you have. Once Kyrie's gone, you really have no shot.
Yeah.
You think Durant's going to win it just with Simmons?
No, but I also don't think Randall and Durant is a very good fit. But if Durant leaves, Simmons and Randall is interesting.
I think the Nets' goal here was to get the 1-year deal. I think they were looking at him being like, if he wants the 5-year deal, we're good. We just can't do this. But if we can get him just to opt in, we will run this back. Because, I mean, really, the Nets have to be a little curious to see how this goes with Kyrie, Simmons, and Durant.
If
they
it's
all
not
actually
going good,
play.
if it's not going good, I think he's gone by the trade deadline. They're not going to let him walk for nothing, and they're probably not going to max him. So if they're not top 2, I think they trade him.
I think you're probably right about that. I think the experiment's close to being over.
Yeah.
So does that trade happen? I don't think Brooklyn is ready to trade Kyrie for Randall. And I think if they were, the Knicks would probably do that.
Probably.
Yeah. Barrett King writes, between Brunson and Jonathan Murray, who would be your pick? Murray is better and has one of the best contracts in the NBA, but Brunson could come without giving up anything. If reports are true, Spurs are demanding Gallinari plus multiple firsts from Atlanta. Surely we can do better. So clearly we can do better. Do you want to trade 3 of the Knicks firsts plus one or two of these other firsts plus IQ? Is that a price you're willing to pay for DeJounte Murray?
If that's the price, I would rather Brunson.
Okay.
I would rather
think-
Murray, the player, but at that cost, I would rather Brunson.
I think the cost is going to be high. Yeah, whatever, rights. What month does Brunson sign and then declare injured and out for the season?
I don't like that question.
That's too dark for me. The only thing I had made a joke on Twitter that how funny it would be when the Knicks signed Brunson and Tibbs is like, yeah, but Burks is starting. Anthony writes, is IQ our starting point guard on opening night? It would be shocking with Brunson here. Here's a question that was I heard raised on another podcast. How much better is Brunson than IQ? Do we know? What do you think, Jay?
I think Brunson's better just because he's more consistent.
Yeah. He's a lot more. I mean, IQ is really streaky. He had a great end of last season. And the point was made that they'd wish the Knicks had played IQ more so you had a better idea of what you had there.
True, but he was really bad for like a couple months, so he didn't really earn those extra minutes the first couple months.
I haven't checked, but they said someone was saying how the true shooting percent, when you look at true shooting percentage, IQ's and Brunson's, even though IQ's actual field goal percentage is terrible, but his true shooting percentage, because you add in like the free throws and so forth, is actually much closer to Brunson.
But that's really because of the last month and a half.
Yeah, that's last month and a half. Also, like, he does a lot of bullshit with his trying to get foul calls, which are really annoying. I like IQ as a player, but like I feel like he's just going to get less of those calls also going forward.
So I mean, the question is, did he get
Do
better?
enough.
Did he get better, or did he just have a good streak?
It's hard to know. I mean, someone pointed out I saw someone pointing out they're like Obi over the last 10 games was shooting like 40% from 3. He's a good 3-point shooter now. And someone else was like, yeah, Randall shot 40% for an entire season, and he's not a good 3-point shooter. You might need a bigger sample size than 10 games.
Right. Yeah. I mean, people only remember the good streak. If you remember, J.R. Smith had about 6 good weeks and won Sixth Man of the Year, and he was pretty bad like the rest of the season.
Yeah. So if the Knicks, I think based on what you know about IQ, signing Brunson makes sense. If IQ will still get minutes, he'll still have plenty of opportunities to succeed. He hasn't shown enough to me to warrant them not bringing in a free agent point guard.
Right.
Not at a man writes, percentage Tibbs is going to be coaching this team for all of next season. Also, what's going to happen with Mitch contract-wise? So what do you think? What percentage is Tibbs here all season?
90%.
I would be pretty surprised. Well, if Tibbs gets fired, the problem also, if Tibbs gets fired, Leon's going to get fired also. Because that means this team is a disaster.
Yeah.
Um,
I think Tibbs gets a full season with a legit point guard.
Yeah. And what's Mitch's contract looking like?
4 years, $48 million.
Yeah, that sounds about 4 years, 48, 4 years, 50. I don't think he's worth a lot more than that. I think people have overrated just how good Mitchell Robinson is.
Yep.
The one thing in his defense is all of last offseason, he had a broken foot, which made him start the season a little out of shape and did not give him the offseason to really work on his game.
Mm-hmm.
My understanding is he has 2 working feet this offseason. You would really hope to see his game get a little better. Maybe some offense, just something else to his game. I mean, the point of signing him is if you're signing him to a 4-year deal, you're hoping he gets better.
Yeah.
Because the current Mitch is not good enough to get the 4-year deal. Like it's the potential you're signing.
Yeah. Yep.
That's also why I think I would have just drafted Jalen Durant because I wouldn't mind he has more potential or whatever. And Nick's third quarter writes, how happy are you guys that we're getting interest in Noel and Burks?
I like Burks. I just think he played out of position.
Yeah. I also Noel was just injured all of last season.
Yeah.
If Noel's healthy, and that's a giant if, that he's barely been healthy in his career. But if healthy, he's a very good center.
Breaking
Do you
news.
think- What do we have breaking news?
Breaking news. The Knicks are trading Nerlens Noel and Alec Burks to the Pistons. The Knicks will unload $19 million more in salary cap, clearing the way for cap space to try and sign free agent guard Jalen Brunson.
Wow. This literally just broke. I can't believe it's not after the show's over.
I know. Woj just tweeted that.
So they are the Knicks getting anything? I think Detroit has a big trade exception, if I'm correct. So are the Knicks getting anything back, or it's just Noel and Burks are gone? You're saying?
Says they're gone. It doesn't say what the Knicks are receiving.
I mean, they might just be receiving, like it might just be into their cap space.
So the Knicks gave the Pistons Burks, Noel, kind of gave him Jalen Duran and Kemba, and the Knicks got nothing.
Yeah.
And 4 second rounders.
Yes. Also, if they just cleared, so they're cleared Burks and Noel, which is about, they said 19 million.
Yeah.
Is that their? If you cleared both those guys, did you have to not draft someone in opening? Like part of the reason not drafting someone in the first round was you wanted that cap space. Like this looks like a smart move in the sense of like you just cleared cap space for nothing. Like on its own, isolated, seems like a good move. And also for all IQ fans, Burks is not going to play point guard over IQ anymore.
I know. I still like Burks, and I think when he was playing in his actual position at the 2, he was really good. So I'm kind of sad to see him go. Noel is too injury prone. That's fine.
Well, I assume Jericho Sims is back next year. If you're signing Mitch and you have Jericho Sims, and I imagine Taj will just be on the team, you don't really need to have Noel also.
Right.
Like, that's also the point of drafting young players is like Sims is there, so you don't necessarily need Noel anymore.
Mhm.
It also means the positive news also is if Burks is gone, beyond him not playing point guard, you're opening up more minutes for Grimes.
Yes.
The Knicks have a lot of faith in Grimes if they're doing this trade.
So right now it looks like the starting lineup is going to be Brunson, Fournier, RJ, Randall, Mitch.
Brunson, Fournier, Randall, Mitch, and RJ. Will that starting unit like? Is there enough defense in that starting unit?
No.
I feel like Fournier can't start. Like you'd have to start Grimes over him because Grimes is the better defender.
Yeah. Then you have IQ, Fournier, Cam, Obi, and Sims as the bench.
Also, if you're a Cam fan, you want minutes for him. Burks being gone gives you more minutes for Cam. Like
It does.
There's more room to get those guys in. I still obviously I'm angry about them not drafting anyone, but whatever. This is an interesting trade.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you think they're going to try to move Fournier?
At this point, I think you got to have like one vet left, right?
Well, they have Randall still. You know what? Wait, hang on. So the Knicks have just cleared 19 million. They cleared 9, and they cleared I think 18 on draft night between Kemba and just not drafting someone at the first round.
Mhm.
So do they have 37 million in cap space?
They might. So you figure like 25 is probably going to go to Brunson. I think they're just going to offer as much as they possibly can, which I think is 25.
I mean, for Mitch, I mean the point with Mitch, like you could, I think they can go over the cap for Mitch. So
Yeah.
you don't want to reserve any cap space for Mitch. Like you can go above.
No, you sign your free agents, and then you use your bird rights to go over the cap after you sign the free agents.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like the NBA cap system. I think it's ridiculous because some teams can pay so much more money. But the biggest thing the biggest advantage you can get in this kind of system is drafting your own players or just having your own players and using bird rights on them. I think Golden State is going to pay. They're going to be so far over the cap this next season, but it won't matter. I think like they're going to pay some massive fine, but
If
their owner has lots
if
of
they
money.
keep their entire roster and sign new contracts for everybody who's expiring, which includes Green and Thompson and Poole,
Yeah.
they can have a salary of $400 million.
I think that was with the penalties for
Yes,
going above.
that's what all the taxes and penalties. But
yeah,
still,
all
like,
the taxes, but like, and if they pay $400 million, I still think they make money on that. So I think they're fine.
yeah,
And the Knicks would also like the Knicks paid $400 million in cap. Like it's MSG, they would still be fine.
yeah,
And the Knicks, like there's the one thing you'd rip James Dolan for. No one's ever called James Dolan cheap with this stuff. So I in theory, if Dolan had he's never cheaped out on players.
right.
He just other issues, but like he's willing to spend. But it also helps when you draft your own players and like. But
Yep.
we have some young guys. Hopefully, one day we'll be giving Grimes $100 million just because he's here.
All right. 2 more questions. We're out of time. nyknickspodcast@gmail.com. Jonathan writes, do you really trust that RJ can become the face of the franchise? It's just that a lot of fans want RJ to be the number 1 option, and I'm a little scared with his efficiency. He's one of the worst in the whole league. I know he's still young, but I don't know. I love RJ, but I don't see him as the number 1 option or even a number 2. Thoughts?
He's young. He's really young. He needs to fit there were so many goddamn plays where he goes to the rim and there's 7 guys at the rim and like there's just no way he's going to get around everyone. He doesn't take the inefficient shots that Randall does, but he takes his own version of them by going into traffic too often, like wildly. But do I have faith in RJ getting better and getting more efficient? Yeah, I really do. I think he's a guy that works really hard. He's gotten better every season. I think he's going to keep getting better. What about you?
Yeah,
I think he's the guy. I think he's the guy to build around. And he's also, no matter everything else about bringing Brunson, anyone else, the number 1 guy who's going to determine our fate is RJ.
He absolutely needs to work on the efficiency, but yeah, he could definitely be that guy.
But it's also it's what, yeah. Well, it's why it's hard to play him and Randall together because I don't have as much faith in Randall. But yeah,
right. I think it's George. I can't tell from the email. Jay, was it smart for Leon to get those 3 OKC picks, knowing the NBA is going to take it from us after they finish their tampering investigations?
Yeah.
Also, will we ever see them win a ring? Well, I think the market for tampering was set, and it was only the 2nd rounder, right? Isn't that what Miami and Chicago, didn't they both lose like 2nd rounders?
They're going to make an example of the Knicks.
I mean, they can't now. I mean, 2 other teams.
They could do whatever they want to the Knicks.
Yeah.
That is a big though drop on the show. The New York will send Detroit back its 2nd round 2024 pick via Miami and $6 million. I guess they just give them a bags of cash. I don't know how that works, but the Knicks are including 2 future 2nd round picks and cash. So it's Burks, Noel, and 2 2nd rounders and $6 million cash.
So the Knicks gave them 6 2nd rounders and
No, yeah. Oh, 6. You're counting the 4 from Kemba?
Yeah.
Yeah.
6 2nd rounders, 3 players, cash.
The Knicks gave up a 1st rounder. Detroit got Durant also.
Yeah, but they got back the Bucks.
Okay, yeah, whatever. They
So
gave
I'm
up the
gonna call that a
11th pick for the
I'm going to call that a wash.
the 11th pick for the 25th pick in 2025. I don't know if you understand time value of money, but that's not a wash.
Okay, it's worse. It's worse.
It's incredibly worse. So basically the Knicks gave up a 1st round pick, half a dozen 2nd round picks, $6 million in cash, and got cap space. Which is it's not even a terrible. I mean, I don't like the 1st rounder, but I get what they're doing. It just sounds really weird.
Yeah.
I was reading something about defending all these moves, and the argument was once the Knicks sign RJ and Mitch, they'll have very little cap space. They have to make these moves now, maximize the roster as much as you can before you give RJ his big extension. And they're going to be locked in with this roster and blah, blah, blah. It's a choice you're making. You don't have to be locked in. I mean, obviously you have to sign RJ, but like you don't have to sign Mitch. You could have drafted the guy. You don't have to go in the same directions they're going. But it'll be interesting. It'll be in theory, you're setting yourself up for a exciting season.
Yeah, it should be interesting. So we'll be back on Monday, and we will talk about what actually happened in free agency.
Yeah, a lot is about to go down. If we do not have any updates between now and Monday, this will be a very angry show.
Brooklyn Adrian wants to know what we can get back for Randall.
Does Detroit have any more cap space they want to give us?
I think it seems like that's what the Knicks are doing, just giving things away.
It's going to be. Do you think? Here's the big thing. Do you think the Knicks will have? Will the Knicks have high enough draft pick next year that they can use it to get off Brunson's contract?
Okay, so thanks.
I want just to clear. I'm very happy the Knicks getting Brunson. I think that's a good move. Okay.
NY Knicks Podcast, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, nyknickspodcast@gmail.com. Thanks for listening. Thanks everybody who joined in the chat. We had a lot of people in there today, and we will be back probably next Monday. And we're also going to be recording our other podcast, The Brink of Sanity, soon. It's our comedy podcast, so stay tuned for that. Same Twitch and YouTube channels for those. Twitch is Crumpled Bacon, and YouTube is TITOWAJ. All right. I'll see everybody soon.
Goodbye, everybody. It's all over. Goodbye. It's time to go. This is the end.